Well, welcome everybody. Really appreciate you all being here. We're going to get started in a minute or two. So as soon as Sean Johnson makes his way back from wherever in cyberspace he happens to be. But we are delighted that you are with us this afternoon. My name's Al Bartosik. I am the Executive Director of the Fordham Foundry. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to the third annual Pitch Challenge. The third annual Rams Den. Thank you. I appreciate that. So at any rate, let's get started. And we've got 8 great companies here that are going to present today. And we hope that you all are also going to participate in the People's Choice Award by downloading the Pre-VC app, which will be appearing on your screen pretty shortly. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Dean Donna Rapiccioli, the head of the Gabelli School of Business, to say a few words and kick us off. Donna?
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Al. I wanted to add my words of welcome and my excitement for today. The Rams Den Business Plan Competition always interests and excites me. I really enjoy learning about all the creative businesses that our students and our alumni start. I also find the stories about what motivated them really unique and inspirational. So I look forward to hearing them more today. The other thing that really strikes me is how many of them are related to their family traditions, and others reflect their strong professional and personal networks that they've built here at Fordham and elsewhere in the community. So I'm always quite impressed. Before I hand it over to Sean, though, I do want to take a moment to share my gratitude for not only our sponsors who made today's event possible, Amazon Web Services, Brex, SendGrid, and Stripe Atlas. Without their services, we couldn't be providing the event today. But I really want to also recognize everyone at the Fordham Foundry, Al, who you just met, Sean, Milton, Joseph, Kayla, William, and Chirayi. All of them are contributing to the activities that we do at the Foundry, and none of this would happen without them. I also am very grateful for our advisory board, and I want to mention each of them: Michael McSherry, Angelo Santinelli, Tariq Abbas, Michael Dorley, Chase McQuillan, John Murphy, who's also serving as a judge today, Michael Priest, and David Yanamani. I want to thank them for their leadership and for and really pushing us forward to ensure that the Foundry is really doing great work. And today, we are very, very lucky to have with us a slate of distinguished judges. Desmond Lewis, co-founder of the Bronx Community Foundation. John Murphy, as I mentioned, is a member of the advisory board, but he's also an executive vice president and CFO at Adobe. Elena Roel, outbound product manager at Looker for Google. Jared Sorin, partner at McCarter and English and co-founder of Entrepreneurs Incorporated. And Annie Evans Trotta, founder of Dream Ventures. Thank you all so much for your time and your interest and for being here with us. And now it is my honor to turn it over to Sean to kick us off.
Thanks so much, Dean Rapiccioli. So, hello, I'm Sean Johnson, and I'll be the MC for today. Before we kick things off and explain what all we'll be covering in this event, I wanted to let you in on an opportunity, which is the chance to play venture capitalist. So alongside the judges, you'll actually determine who wins one of the prizes, the People's Choice Award, which comes with a prize of $1,500, and you'll do so using the Pre-VC app. So in order to cast your votes for the winner, what you'll need to do is follow these 4 steps. So step 1 is scan that QR code that you see on the screen, which will guide you to download the app in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Once you've got that downloaded, you can sign up as a pre-investor, and using the event code 9154, you'll see the teams and be able to cast your vote and invest your dollars and ultimately determine who wins the People's Choice Award. Okay, so on to the day. Here's the order of events. We just covered a bit of networking, and I hope that you had the chance to meet a couple of folks. And if that hasn't happened, we're actually going to have a couple of opportunities for you to network, which I'll explain in a bit. We've got 8 teams that are presenting, and we'll have our first 4 go in just a bit, followed by one of those networking opportunities. And that networking will be done openly with the opportunity for you to meet people at random. Then we'll have our second round of companies present, followed by another round of networking, which exposes you to the Fordham Foundry community, which we've defined by our existing affinity groups, which I'll walk you through in a bit. And then we'll announce the winners. And that'll all to wrap the day. So if you want to know where exactly we are in the program, we put together a program booklet for you, which you can either enter in this link or, again, use the QR code, and that'll take you directly to the PDF for our program booklet. So I think we can get started. So our first round of companies will be taking the stage as follows. First up, we have Laugh-In, followed by Lel Beauty, then Equidoc, and then The Real Word. So to kick things off, we've got Team Laugh-In going first. Laugh-In, if you'd like to share your screen and take the stage, best of luck.
Hi, I'm Nikolai.
I'm John.
And we're currently freshmen who attend Fordham. And this is our company, Laugh-In, which is a plush toy company that we founded in May of 2020. The reason for this was that we were in quarantine and we wanted to be productive. So we tended to get a bunch of Instagram ads for different toy companies and different businesses. And we thought, how hard could it be? So we gave it a shot ourselves.
The problem we noticed with our competition is that there's no sense of uniqueness to their product line, and it's hard for customers to have a personalized experience.
So our solution to that was to offer a wide variety of different outfits and clothing accessories that the customer could choose and dress their own doll with. All of our animals also share the same wardrobe, which really just adds a personal touch to the entire experience. And that brings us to our mission statement, which is that we aim to provide people with love and comfort in their lives through the congenial brand.
Our main demographic consists of females aged 16 to 24 residing in the US, although we have reached 182 countries so far. Their interests include art, fashion, TikTok, stuff like that.
So we founded the company on May 14th of 2020, and at this time we were processing orders through the Alibaba group, but at the time this proved to be rather inefficient.
As soon as we started getting more orders in July, we moved to an independent supplier.
And we found that this would save us fees, so we saw a 15% reduction on the cost of goods sold. In September, our total revenue surpassed $100,000, and this is when we released our best-selling product, which is currently Laugh-In Dewey, the frog. And our first batch, 200 units, sold out in the first 2 days. We've grown so much since then that our most recent batch consisted of 4,000 units.
In November, we surpassed 25,000 followers on Instagram and noticed that TikTok provided a lot of word of mouth marketing.
In January, our total revenue surpassed $500,000.
And now we're currently focusing more on branding. So we mainly advertise on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And as we said before, we advertise to the Gen Z audience. So we mainly use a meme format for ads. And this proves to be do quite well. Here's just an example of some of the comments we see on our ads. As you can see, we're doing something right. It's just amazing to see the joy and positivity that we can bring, even in the midst of these hard times. Here's an example of one of the videos we saw from our customers. This video in particular reached millions of views. It's just a good example of word of mouth marketing. Apart from this, we've reached out to influencers through our affiliate program.
And to keep our customer retention rates high, we also have a rewards program where we reward people with points for their purchases. We call this Laugh-In Loot, and you can redeem Laugh-In Loot on different discounts and offers on the site. Here's a screenshot of a Twitter bot that we actually put together. And essentially what this does is it gives us different values and metrics, and it'll tweet at us each night for all the information for the day. And what this does is makes it so we don't even have to go in and look at the numbers ourselves. And what's really important to us is streamlining the operations as much as possible. So this really helps with that.
Here's a general cost breakdown of Laugh-In Dewey. He retails for $24.99 plus shipping, and he costs around $14.30 plus some fees.
That brings our total revenue to $30.98 with a cost of $15.41 for about a 50% profit margin. And as you'll see across the board, our average profit margin is 49%. We have over 17,000 orders to date, over $600,000 in total revenue, a 2.2% conversion rate, and a $35 average order value. I'm Nikolai. I'm a freshman at Lincoln Center, and I handle the design work and scripting for the company.
I'm John. I'm a freshman at Rose Hill, and I handle more advertising and customer engagement.
And we find that we're really able to connect well with our customers because of our young age and our ability to engage with the Gen Z audience. So we're looking for funding to move our fulfillment process from China, where it is now, to the US. And this would do two things. It would reduce our carbon footprint caused by our operations. And this is a progressive practice that's important to both us and our customers who tend to be interested in sustainability. This would also cut down on shipping times from a few weeks to a few days. And we would expect this to increase our returning customer rate. So as for the future, we want this brand to last. And here are a few of our plans for this coming year. This includes pushing out additional characters, exclusive apparel, matching merchandise, working on a dedicated app, and even an animated show. And as you can see right in the middle here is an exclusive look of our next product, which is soon to be released. You can find us at www.laughin.fun and on Instagram at Laughin. Questions?
All right. Yeah. Great presentation, Laughin, and you're exactly right. We're going to hear from the judges who will ask any questions that they may have. So first, we'll start off with Desmond. Desmond?
Sure. Thank you very much. First of all, I loved the presentation. It was fun. It was representative of probably what your customer base would love seeing, the colors of it, the product. I mean, it's the fact that you started in the middle of COVID and had really the guts to push something out because you identified a need is absolutely amazing. So just a couple, one question, I'll leave some room for the other judge to ask. So the toy industry it's an interesting industry, right? It's a very fast paced, customers needs and wants change very, very quickly. The question I had, you kind of addressed it on the very last slide. It was the question that immediately come up throughout your whole presentation. But I'd love to just hear a bit more about your innovation process. So how do you innovate? How do you find these new products? How do you keep the customer's attention and their demands sort of for a need for your product? Because innovating quickly is core to the toy business, right? You have to maintain the interest of your customers. So can you talk to me a bit about your innovation process and how you plan on maintaining that customer interest?
Yeah, so currently we're just working on pushing out as many characters as possible. A lot of that is listening to what our customers talk about on our social media. We've also talked about the different digital elements such as the merchandise and the app, the animated show. But another thing we've been talking about is a potential subscription service that people could subscribe to, and you could get perhaps an animal of the month or an outfitter of the month to come with that service.
All right. Next question goes to John Murphy.
I'm curious about, well, first of all, great presentation. I do love the product too. It's a lot of fun. I'm curious about the competition and how you've thought about it.
Yeah, so as we said before, we stand out from the competition because we have a wide variety of different outfits that we sell separately to the doll. And as soon as we provide these outfits, it's just a wide variety of different opportunity there to sell more of the outfits than the plushie.
Another thing we definitely focus on is pushing the whole idea of the brand and creating an ecosystem out of these characters. So it's not just different toy dolls you might buy like any other company. We try to create an entire community out of the whole thing.
It's interesting because I think about, and I'm probably dating myself here, but it was pretty popular a while back, was Build-A-Bear, and they obviously had the same type of concept with different outfits. And the concept was you're in the store, physical store. So I think this is even better given the pandemic. You're in a remote environment, you can remotely design your toy. But when you think about those types of businesses in the future, how do you differentiate your brand and what you want to do with the brand versus like something like a Build-A-Bear?
We want to push our brand more to, like we said, a Gen Z audience, and we do this through our social media, and we want to build a sense of community through that. Like we said, for the future, we're thinking of stuff like an app where there would be something as like a community where people can interact with other fans of Laugh-In.
Yeah, and we're hoping to push more of a digital element to it, where we've been talking about an animated show, and you would just have storylines for these different characters, and people could really bond over that collectively.
Great.
Yeah, we don't want this to just be a purchase, but we want this to be a part of their lives.
Okay, so in the interest of time, the last one may go to Elena.
Awesome. Great. So very, very fun idea. I guess you mentioned that your key differentiator is really about the clothing and being able to personalize it. But when you think about investing, you were talking about moving towards a more carbon neutral footprint. I guess talk to me why you are choosing to invest in that you'd want to invest in that as opposed to something that really leans into that differentiator.
So what we're trying to do is, number one, focus on the carbon footprint, because we've noticed that in a lot of our audience, they tend to gravitate towards the idea of sustainability. And we've looked at a global consumer insight survey from 2020, and we found that 45% of consumers will try to use less plastic if they can, which really shows like that growing concept. So that's number one, why we're trying to focus on the carbon footprint. But we also want to cut down on shipping times for our customers, so that if we were to introduce a subscription service or just more and more items that people can buy into, that they would be able to come faster. And the faster they come, hopefully you would become a returning customer because of that.
Okay, so we'll leave things there and get ready for our next company. So that next company will be Lel Beauty, presented by Alita So. Alita, if you'd like to share your screen and take the stage.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Alida So, and I'm a Master in Global Finance student at Fordham University. Today, I'm going to talk to you about my business, Lel Beauty LLC. Nowadays, everybody is longing to enhance their outer beauty, and many people are investing tons of money into many chemical products that can have undesired effect to always look young and beautiful. How about using natural skincare regimen that nourish, glow, and prevent premature aging? The roots of Lel Beauty is found when I was still living in my country, Burkina Faso, with my mother, West Africa, and that's a French-speaking country. She owns a handmade soap factory made with oil and natural healing herbs such as moringa and shea butter. And that's my beautiful mother showing the shea butter. Everything started when I moved to the United States, and I could not easily find a natural skincare product that would give me the same nourishment that I was getting when I was still living in my country. So I reached out to my mom and I asked her to ship, I was asking her to ship me some products from back home. And after some times, we decided to start manufacturing all the products over here with the same quality and ingredients. So my mom went away and she shipped the ingredients needed to start the business. What set us apart from our competition, for our competitors? Our key ingredients that are more accessible in my country, West Africa, Burkina Faso, than in the United States is a big element in our in our production, and that those ingredients help us set ourselves apart because of the quality of the ingredients and the fact that it's more open in Africa. For example, we do have shea butter, and shea butter is only manufactured in some countries in Africa. We do have, we also use secret ancient formula from my village and the effectiveness of our products. Did you know that moringa is called Argina flavuru in my dialect, which means tree from the paradise because of its many virtue, and that's the green powder on the picture. We received so many client testimonies showing the before and after using our products. They send us the picture to say that our products have been good on their skin, and they can see the difference of using our products. This is one of our marketing strategies because we know that satisfied clients always refer other people and they always come back. Recently, beauty influencers have started sharing reviews on YouTube and Instagram. They say that our scrub, body wash, and cream are the best among all the products they received to promote in 2020. But I have to say that we did not pay them for the promotion. With those featurings, our sales increased by 180% from December to January. Our main marketing strategy is social media advertisement, and that is what we use to reach out to our clients, showing how our products can help them reach their skin goals. We launched our business in the midst of a pandemic in May 2020. We realized 10,000 sales in 3 months with an average price of each product being $14. And in December, we increased our price, and the average price also increased to $16. And that shows how many people are interested in our products, because many people, most of our clients buy at least one product, and we have been receiving many clients from since the beginning. Our team members are my beautiful mother, Masoso. She's the sourcing manager. She's the one who takes care of the raw ingredients that we use, and she shipped them to us from my country, Burkina Faso. And I'm the CEO, Alida So, and I'm the production manager. I take care of all the production and all the shipping. My sister is the marketing manager, and her name is Vanessa. So she's the one who takes care of our online presence and social media. Our current goals are to scale out our inventory to prevent production rupture, since our raw ingredients are sent from back home. And we are also aiming to grow our social media presence to expand to Canada, as we already started receiving orders from there. 9% from our sales from December to January were from Canada. We eventually are looking forward to hire employees to help in the process. Lel Beauty is a mother-daughter e-commerce startup that responds to a growing demand by promoting beauty through natural products using the power of nature-given ingredients. Merci bien, which means thank you in English.
Merci, Alida. So we'll start our judges Q&A with Annie. Annie?
Fantastic presentation. I love it. Can you talk to me a little bit more about your retail strategy? You know, aside from e-commerce and direct to consumer, are you planning to try to get into, you know, a Sephora or CVS or any of those type of stores, or are you just going to focus on direct to consumer?
We are currently focusing on direct to consumer, and we are also trying to enlarge our e-commerce platform to Amazon. We recently created an Amazon business account to retail from there, and also on Etsy and eBay. But currently we are only focusing on distributing directly to our customers.
Next question goes to Jared.
Thanks. Yeah, this was really great to echo the sentiments from Annie. I think often we talk about entrepreneurs trying to solve a problem that they have faced themselves, and this seems like something that is taken to heart from you, products that were not available here, and the fact that you decided to solve that problem is incredible, and you should be really proud of that. In addition to the retail strategy, I was thinking about what your capital fundraising strategy might be. Have you raised any money to date? And if not, do you intend to?
So far, I've only been working with my family members, my mother, and she's the one who sent me the money to start all the business. And we have been looking on raising capital because we encountered like serious issues during 2020, the year of 2020 of our inventory. When we were sold out on some products, we couldn't get the products shipped to us quicker because of the price of the shipping through the post office, and we had to ship through the boats, and that took a long time. So that made us like start raising capital and looking for other ways. And we reach out to family and friends to help us do that. And also we have been looking for other ways, like we have been reaching out to other people who want to sponsor us.
And the next question goes to Elena.
Wonderful. I think, can you talk a little bit more? I know you just mentioned the production line, but can you talk a little bit more about what the ingredient is that you're kind of, betting the farm on in addition to the shea butter, and what the, acquisition strategy is for that?
Okay, we have been using moringa too, moringa, shea butter, and other natural ingredients called kinkeliba and clou de girofle. And those natural ingredients, I've been looking for their names in English, but I couldn't find them. And those are the names that people know them in Africa. So those products help a lot, are known for the nourishment that they provide to the skin. So apart from the shea butter, we also use other healing herbs like moringa, as I said it, and the clou of girofle and the kinkeliba. Those are natural herbs that we use, and we also use coconut oils, but our coconut oils come from the United States.
And our last question is likely to go to John Murphy.
Great, thank you. I really like your presentation a lot. I was curious as to different business models that you've considered. Right now you're focusing on retail, but this seems to be a product that you would want to reuse. And have you thought about a subscription service?
Yes, we currently offer a subscription to our clients when they reach out to it, when they spend a setup an amount like $85 in a month, we automatically send them a free product, and when they keep doing, they build out like our customers' loyalty.
Great.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Alita, for presenting Lel Beauty to us. The next scene that we have presenting will be Ozzy and Nick, who tell us a bit about Equidoc. So, Team Equidoc, if you'd like to share your screen.
Sorry, everyone. Can you guys all hear me?
We can.
Okay, brilliant. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ozzy, and presenting with me today is Nick Avella. We're going to be speaking to you about Equidoc. Equidoc is a company that we specifically created to provide lending solutions for small businesses that have traditionally been underserved or ignored by lending institutions. Both Nick and I are children of small business owners, and we know firsthand the experience of the highs as well as the lows, the times when you have to have the tough discussions over the dinner table about times getting rough. Equidoc was specifically made to address those conversations. Let me hand it off to Nick for the next few slides.
Thank you, Ozzy. So a lot of the challenges that our Main Street customers are facing right now in today's market have been, they've just been in the past deemed too high risk in order to retain a loan. So this might be a credit related issue. They might be in an industry that's considered non-preferred, might even be a socioeconomic or gender biases that we're seeing some lenders engage in. But regardless, they're considered unfundable by these traditional lending institutions. Second is that the current options in the market today are rarely affordable. In my 5 years of small business lending experience, I've seen these rates go as high as 40 to 50%. In fact, high 20 to the low 30% are very common in today's small business lending market. Third is that they're just not available when our clients, when these small business owners need them. When small businesses need the money, they really needed it yesterday, not 3 to 5 days from now. So the way that we are helping our clients overcome these challenges is that one, we're giving them, just next slide, Ozzy. Oops, sorry. So one is that we're giving them the ability to have a affordable line of credit that's set up on a monthly payment. Second is that we're going to be able to evaluate their business based on 2 variables, which we'll get into more shortly, but we're looking at what's called their willingness to pay and their ability to pay. And when we do that, we're able to align these small business owners with the most appropriate financial solution possible that's going to guarantee them success down the road. Lastly, we're giving them the funds in that on-demand setup where they're able to go on and have access to those funds when they need them. So these are not Fortune 500 companies that are able to anticipate risk or challenges down the pike. Often these challenges arise with no notice at all, or opportunities might come up with no notice at all. So when opportunities do arise, small business owners need to capitalize that, and we're going to be able to give that to them through our digital wallet on their platform. Next, in terms of what we look at for just a business model, it's a line of credit. It's a true revolving line of credit that ranges from $1,000 to $10,000, depending on the risk associated with each file. There's not going to be an interest rate charge with our product. What it is, it's a fixed monthly fee, similar to a gym membership that's going to range anywhere from $20 to $80 per month. Each one of our members has been paying an initiation fee of $50, and in the combination of the initiation fee as well as the reoccurring monthly fee, we're giving them access, guaranteed access to that revolving line of credit when they need it. So just to dive a little bit more into like the risk and what we mean by willingness and ability to pay. When we say willingness to pay, essentially we're looking at their credit. How willing have they in the past been to pay their cable bills or their rent payments? That's going to give us a really good understanding of how willing they'll back. In terms of their ability to pay, it's what's their track record as far as their cash flow? Do they have the necessary funds in order to pay us back? And once we look at both the willingness and ability to pay, we're able to forecast and have a really good understanding of how willing they're going to be able to pay us back. And that's good for Equidoc, and it's good for our clients and our investors as well. So I'm going to hand it off now to Ozzy, who's going to talk a little bit about our market size.
Thank you, Nick. With respect to the market size, we did quite a bit of research for this with the Small Business Administration for 2019. What we discovered was there was about 1.9 million businesses that had requested and were declined for loans. Of those, going deeper into it and double clicking into the information, we discovered that about 250,000 of those businesses really requested loans for up to about 10,000. Factoring those two numbers in, what we discovered was the size for the particular market is about 1.25 billion. All that being said, though, I think one of the major things that we really looked at was just by virtue of the size of the market, we're looking somewhere about 20 million jobs that are being impacted when those loans aren't provided and those businesses can't stabilize or grow as needed. As far as our go-to-market plan, it's been pretty straightforward. We've really sort of had two legs of the stool so far. One has been our referral partnership. So we've established quite a bit of partnership by which we have about 400 to 500 clients, prospective clients that are being pushed in our direction on a monthly basis. From a digital marketing perspective, we're using the traditional digital marketing strategies. In conjunction with that, we were very keen on building out a blog, which specifically speaks to speaking about some of the challenges that small businesses are having and how do they address and meet those particular challenges, not just funding related challenges. As far as the team, one on the left is myself, Chief Executive Officer. I'm a serial entrepreneur. For the last 10 years or so, I have built out about 5 successful companies. Next is Nick Avella. He's our Chief Marketing Officer. Nick has been in the small business lending industry for quite a while. He's been exposed to a lot of different areas like sales, marketing, partnership development. And then lastly, we have David Liber. He's our Chief Technology Officer, and David is really where the rubber meets the road. He's an expert in all things tech and specifically development and in machine learning. As far as our traction to date, I think some of the noticeable things or the notable things that we can mention is we have been able to procure 100K in funding. In conjunction with that, we currently have 10 clients that we've onboarded. That means they've been onboarded, vetted from a risk perspective, and they're currently utilizing our line of credit plans. Next, from a marketing perspective, we've been out there for quite a while, and we've been getting about 10 conversions a month, and it's been steadily growing. Part of the challenge is making sure we manage the risk right way. So we've been very conservative with who we're actually moving forward with. Next is partnerships. I mentioned.
I have to stop you there. I believe you all are at time, but we can transition into Q&A from the judges, and hopefully we can hear a bit more about your presentation. So that first question goes to Elena. Elena.
Great. So yeah, I guess how, if these are risky people to be associated by the by the finance industry, how do you think that you're differently able to assess them for viability, for payback rates?
Right. So I can answer that, Ozzy. So, looking at their credit, what we see is that we're looking at two different types of businesses that we're funding. One is that we're funding to startups that don't have any track record at all of their business. Second is established businesses that are still too risky. So it's really a fine line. So the company that I work for currently now, what we realize is that if you have if you've been in business for 3 years and you have a 650 credit or more, you're 300% less likely to default on a loan. Outside of that, behind that line, if you've been in business for 2 years and you're below 650, the chances of you defaulting exponentially goes up. So, we look at individuals that might have a little bit be banged up on the credit side, but have been established for business for a little longer. So it's almost like a golden triangle where we'll take chances on startup companies that have really good credit, like 625, but nobody's lending to them because they don't have a business track record. And then we look at businesses that have been there established for 5+ years, and they might have 600 credit. Nobody's taking a chance on them. So it's kind of just based on what we do from a lending perspective. It's always we feel really good about, even though nobody's lending to them, we feel really good about their ability and their willingness to pay. Just based on what we see in our underwriting model and who we've lent to in the past.
Annie's got the next question.
Absolutely incredible presentation and very much a pain point. My husband's a small business owner and he is always talking about this exact pain point. How do you guys think about competing with a Square where, they have such a high market share and it's so easy for them to lend to these companies and then just take the money out automatically because they're already synced up with their checkout system?
So I can handle that one, Nick. So I absolutely agree. I think the industry is trending toward sort of an integrated embedded finance model or lending model. At this particular point, we're really focusing on building out our market only in the space of these small businesses that are in jeopardy or considered high risk. And that's where we've been spending a lot of our time. When you look at a Square, they've gone to the point where they may have initially done that, but now they've sort of graduated and they're really focused on finding those high quality clients to lend to. So they've effectively just walked away from this entire market. So believe it or not, they're not actually our direct competitors or even remote competitors. There's others out there that are in our space, but Square really isn't looking at that. But, to sort of jump back to your earlier sort of point, we do believe that the embedded market or that integrated finance market is where this industry is going. And there's other things that we're doing in the background to help sort of facilitate us getting there as well.
Awesome.
And I believe we have a CFO in the house, John.
Yeah, I think for me, I love the fact that you're hitting a need, but obviously with that group of people and businesses that are new or just starting up, it's a pretty risky business. I'm just curious how you modeled your losses into your financial profile, because just looking at your monthly fees, on the $10,000, you're implying like a 9.6% interest rate. So I'm just curious, how did you model in potential losses with this population?
So Nick, I can handle this one as well. So with respect to our delinquent rate, what we really looked at was there is an industry-wide delinquency rate And what we did was we buffered it to say, okay, this is kind of where we're going to be. So for us, it's not just on the side of how do we manage delinquency, it's also on the side of how do we manage risk right up front. So one of the things that we focused in on was, yep, we wanted to account for, we're going to have a certain amount of delinquency rate, had that a little bit, but beyond that, it's what can we do and be more conservative right up front as we're learning about our clients, as we're learning about the new clients that are coming in and making decisions. Part of the other thing that we're looking at is as we're collecting data on it, we want to get better and better at that decision-making process, managing the risk. And that's really sort of the key for this business. Whoever manages risk best up front is going to be the one that sort of wins the day. So a lot of our focus is on that. I'll give you another example just as an add-on. A lot of our partners have been sending a lot of clients in our direction, prospective clients. That really enables us to get a richer data set to determine what is the risk profile that we're looking at and what do we want to move forward with. So it's a bit of a learning process, but at the same time, right now we're conservative on the front end, and we've been a little liberal on the back end from a delinquency rate.
All right. And with our next company, I believe there's some saying the last shall be first, or, well, at any rate, the last of our first wave of companies presenting is The Real Word. Ricard?
Clearly? Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can't see your slides yet. So if you want to share your screen and begin your presentation.
Yeah, I just want to make sure the sound is clear first, and then I'll go. Legacy. As a Haitian immigrant that came to America, I oftentimes ask myself this question: in this lifetime, will I be able to achieve something that will outlive me, that I will be able to leave, that will help those that will come after me? Looking at my heroes like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, I oftentimes wonder, what will I leave that will be similar to them, that will leave an impact on the world? Who am I? Psalm 37, verse 23, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he that delighteth in his way. I consider myself to be a son, a brother, a husband, a father, and a friend. I'm also a Fordham graduate, a MSW recipient, an ordained minister of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the assistant chaplain of the Franco-Haitian Youth Federation, a recipient of the Schweppes Media 2020 Kings of Kings Award. I've been published in the marquee Who's Who publications, AM New York, Harrier, and Caribbean Life, just to name a few. I'm the founder of the Real Word Ministries Incorporated, chairman of the Real Word, producer of the Real Word TV, and the Real Word podcast, to name a few. But today we have a serious problem that we want to talk about and that we're trying to solve. Those serious problems, obviously, are homelessness and poverty. We're currently in a pandemic, which has caused depression on a lot of people. And speaking of depression, we're currently at the same homeless rate that we were during the Great Depression. There's over 57,000 homeless people in New York City alone, and over 18,000 of those people are children. When it comes to poverty, the 5 boroughs, we have a high amount of it. The highest amount is in the South Bronx, well, it's in the Bronx, mainly the South Bronx, which has over 26% people living in poverty. Last year, we fed over 300 people in the South Bronx through our nonprofit. So what are we doing to help this? Well, we're called The Real Word. Through our television show and our podcast, we've reached over 3 million people, over 3 million views on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, the Brick Network TV, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Pandora. We also have a 501c3 called the Real Word Ministries Incorporated, where we provide tangible goods to those in need that include housing, food, clothing, and shelter. We meet people's everyday needs by providing them with the things that they need every day. The Real Word Reality LLC, where dreams become reality, where we're providing low-income housing to those that are unable to afford housing in New York's expensive housing market. But we're also providing an opportunity for people in the community to invest in this company and to build generational wealth for their families. This is our team, the real team, real word. We have Kamel Hall, our CEO. We have Dr. Pastor Jacques Pierre, who specializes in family therapy. We have Adele Gina Well, our marketing director, and Jennifer Romeo, our secretary. She's also studying the medical field that will help us in regards to health for our community. And myself, Ricard Gina Well, the executive director and founder. Nice to meet you guys. But I could sit back and talk all day, but I'd rather not talk. I'd rather just show you. So here we go. By the way, my sister is singing and rapping in the background. So in regards to what we have done and what we will do, we've given away over 500 turkeys for the last 3 years. We've also gave away over 900 coats through our partnership with New York City Coat Cares. We partnered up with many different religious leaders in Brooklyn and with the media as well. We have boots on the ground helping to feed those in need, helping kids that are going back to school that can't afford school supplies, working with local politicians in Brooklyn, Queens, New York, and Staten Island, meeting people and using media in order to reach people and to provide them with an awareness of what is going on within the communities for those people that have been forgotten about, and for those that don't have a voice. By pushing the media and able to reach people from different backgrounds and to provide them with assistance that they. So for the greater good, this is our future goal, to purchase a mixed-use building. This building will be used to house low-income individuals, people with mental health problems, and the chronically homeless. We'll also use the building for office use, to provide case management for those that need it, such as tenants, and to provide a recording studio. Join our fight. Thank you.
All right. So we've got our first judge Q&A with Desmond.
Thank you. So this obviously hit home very personally for me, given the work we do in our foundation. So I just want to start off by thanking you for all the great work that you have done and what you're looking to do. I'm interested in learning more about, because it's kind of like a hybrid entrepreneurship type structure where you're going to be doing some for-profit, some nonprofit. And clearly the ministry space and the spiritual space, is a very large market for fundraising and donations. But can you talk to me a bit more about your funding strategy and how you're going to go about funding sort of both what I believe is a for-profit element and a nonprofit element, but I welcome you sort of clarifying that if that's not right either.
Okay, so to make a long story short, we started off with the media thing first. So we started off on Facebook Live. On Facebook Live, a lot of people started watching it off of viral videos that I've done from preaching. So from preaching, I had sermons go viral where over 50 to 60,000 people watched me just talking. With the energy that I got from the people watching, I did converted that energy to create the show, The Real Word TV. From people watching the show now, we told them, don't just sit there and watch and don't just let us talk, let's do it together. So we encourage people that watch the TV show either on cable television or online to donate. That's how we get money. So once people donate, we start off with GoFundMe, then we eventually became a 501c3 nonprofit. So once people donate through our Cash App, through PayPal, through our card donation, we also have contracts with Walmart where they provide us with return products or products that are not used through Go60 that provides literally tractor trailers worth of products. We have a lot of in-kind donations. We also working with local politicians, like I said, the Brooklyn Borough President that provides us with fruits and vegetables during the Thanksgiving seasons. And we also hire grant writers that apply for grants through the 501c3. We've applied for the SBA loans. We've gotten money from local churches, friends, family, and people that donate through Facebook because we're linked through Facebook. We also link through Instagram where people donate, and through PayPal, different avenues. When people actually watch the TV show, there's the link at the bottom that comes across the television where people donate as well. So that's where we've been getting funding from for the most part for the organization. The 501c3, obviously, we get grants. The LLC, what we do in that company is we have originally 5 partners in the LLC company, but then we also sell shares into the, then we're going to sell shares within the building through the LLC. The production company for the television show, we eventually want to get on Netflix. And since we trademarked the logo for the company through a nonprofit, whatever profit we make off the show, we're going to donate a portion to the nonprofit.
Awesome. I mean, you're doing amazing work. Yeah, I would also look into poverty-linked institutions like Robinhood. I would also just one point is what many of us learned sort of who started up businesses is to be a disciplined entrepreneur. So try to be very, very sort of clear in terms of where you want to head, but that's amazing. Everything you just said is exactly what you should be doing. So awesome.
Thank you.
Jared.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, kudos. This is obviously a critical, important mission. It sounds like you're on very much the right path and expanding as you would ever hope to. Curious about expansion beyond the greater New York area. Are you thinking about expansion nationally, internationally?
We actually have. In order to get the trademark for the company, we had to establish a federal entity. We did that by employing people in other states such as Florida, Mississippi, Ohio, and California. And what we did was we raised the funds in New York, sent the funds to them through our PayPal channel, and we paid them to actually fulfill the work. What they did was they went to local supermarkets and they purchased food, which they donated to homeless people and people living in low-income neighborhoods. We've also helped feed people in India during the pandemic. Obviously, it's a global pandemic, so there's people in different countries that are suffering as well. They contact us through social media because when the show comes on, we also put our contact information. So international people contact us through WhatsApp and through Facebook and Instagram. And then, sorry, my timer. So they contact us through Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and then they ask for assistance. Of course, we vet to not a scam. And then we send funds over to them. And then sometimes they would buy us with testimonials, depending on if they want to keep it confidential or not. Because some people rather keep some people that testimonials that we use. And the ultimate goal is to have a station in every state. We're starting off in New York, Brooklyn in particular, because that's where we're from. But eventually we want to have a real word office in almost every state and hopefully every country, be a worldwide federation like the Red Cross or something like that, but we're starting small, but eventually we want to become big.
All right, so starting small and getting big. I think that's definitely the spirit of the startups and entrepreneurship that we're here to celebrate today. So that concludes our first wave, and we're going to get into about 20 minutes of our networking session. But before we do, I just wanted to thank our 4 presenters that have already taken the stage, as well as our judges. I know your job has not been easy, and thank you for such incisive questions. Now, during the 20-minute networking session, you have the chance to meet people that you otherwise wouldn't have. So please take the opportunity. And just know that there'll be a couple of members of our team that'll pop into a few of the rooms to stimulate some of that conversation. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you back in 20 minutes. All right, welcome back. So I hope you met someone new, and I also hope you already downloaded Pre. So if not, don't forget to use the Pre app to show your support. And there'll be another networking opportunity later. So to walk you through Pre just one more time, what you'll do is you'll scan the QR code, download the app, sign up as a pre-investor, and enter the event code 9154 to vote with your dollars, which will ultimately determine which dollars will end up in the hands of our People's Choice Award winner. Okay. So let's talk about the next networking opportunity just in advance. So as mentioned, the Fordham Foundry community is broad and diverse, and it's made up of the interests that individuals want to explore with regard to innovation and entrepreneurship. Right now, we've got a couple of affinity groups that define what that community means. And we'd like for you to take the time to edit your name in this Zoom right now with a dash and a code that corresponds to the affinity group that you most want to be a part of, because we're going to create breakout rooms based off of those affinity groups in the next networking break, and you'll be shuttled off just like that. So if I can walk through them, it's the conceptual stage, or CS, consumer products, or CP, the no-code development, which is a great movement for individuals that want to get involved in technology and build apps, but don't necessarily want to hire an engineer or learn the code themselves, or NCD, sustainable fashion, or SF, underrepresented founders, UF, or venture capital, VC. Great. All right, so for any of you that are just joined us, I can tell you that you've missed out on 4 really great companies that are presented, and we've got 4 more great companies that are coming up next. That lineup for the 4 that are yet to present will be Nicholas Rayevsky Design, Two Plaza, Final Approach, and Awful Cloth. All right, so up first is Nicholas Rayevsky Design.
All right. Hello, my name is Nicholas Rayevsky. I'm the creative director and founder of my namesake clothing label. Today, I'm going to take you through who I am, my brand, my business, and what exactly goes into making clothing. Most importantly, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with the funds. So who am I? My name is Nicholas Rayevsky. I'm the lead designer, creative director, and production manager of my namesake clothing label. Now, what does all that stuff mean? It means I come with ideas for clothing, design the clothing, and then oversee production and ensure the end goal is exactly as I intended. I've been designing clothing for about 5 years now. Before that, I ran my own nonprofit organization. I currently lead a small team that helps me with the operations, press, and sales of running a growing clothing label. Michael is our head of operations, and Ben handles all press and sales. So what are some of the current problems in the current fashion market? First of all, the industry is filled with brands trying to build up hype. These brands use more traditional marketing techniques to sell copy and paste designs. The problem is it's kind of played out and just corny. Even as we work our way into more contemporary brands, oftentimes we find the same people telling the same stories. These lead designers and creative directors bounce around from house to house and repeat the same themes, with no ties to any real important issues. And there have been a select right few American brands that stand for something greater than themselves and provide a fresh new perspective on fashion, but none of these brands focus on the important issue of mental health. So what makes me different? What do I add? I'm tearing down the current and showing what actually goes into making a clothing brand. I'm equipped with a unique background and a deep understanding of new age cultural trends and how to properly market in an ever-changing world. I understand and relate to individuals struggling with mental health complications. I'm bipolar and struggle with OCD, so mental health advocacy is something incredibly important to me. I truly relate. Obviously, running a growing clothing label is about making money, but fashion is also about expression. People support brands that stand for something greater than themselves. We've seen this in recent years with LA-based brand Reese Cooper, whose work in conservation efforts made a serious impact on the California park system. I want my namesake clothing label to stand for something more than just selling clothing. I want mental health advocacy to be a pillar of the business. I want to use the platform I've created and following I've curated to make a positive impact. You might not wear the clothing I create. Heck, you might not even like it. But you respect the mission, and you as a consumer understand that if you purchase my clothing, it's going into more things than just cool pants or a nice puffer jacket. It's going towards programs and initiatives that make a serious impact on people's lives. So being an altruistic brand is awesome, but obviously at the end of the day, how I raise awareness and advocate on important issues is obviously tied to how successful my business can be. So how do I bring attention to these issues, and how do I get the message across? A combination of traditional and new age mediums helps me garner attention. I'm currently in partnerships with apps like Shrill and Avant, which operate similar to online marketplaces. These apps have a cult-like following of dedicated users who are always looking for the next big thing. I also work with more traditional stores who stock my clothing. Contemporary fashion is sticky. Think of it as your favorite musician. As they grow and evolve as an artist, you tend to still follow them. So how does my business model work, and what actually goes into creation of clothing? My business model is broken down to 4 stages. Ideation is kind of where the project starts. So I come up with the ideas and kind of begin to tell the story. This is simply the part of the process where we start. Design. This is where concepts and ideas get put on paper. I specialize in something called technical design, or tech packs. Think of it as a 2D blueprint. as if you were to lay the garment flat on a plane. It tells the manufacturer or factory what will go into making the garment, the measurements, the graphics, all the fun stuff that make the garment unique. From there, we send that off to the factory who make the 3D garment. We sample it 1, 2, 3, really however many times it takes to get the product just right. From there, they ship it over we go into bulk production, they ship over all the clothing to us, and we bring it to market. My newest collection, Tell the Smoking Gun, is set to debut February 16th. I was invited to present via the CFDA's new online fashion platform, Runway 360. This online platform, created by the American Fashion Council, or CFDA, is built for exposure in the current COVID world we're living in. Directly after the presentation, my collection will go live, allowing for everyone, even those who didn't watch the presentation, to purchase. I'm expecting to bring in hundreds of new customers. Now, most importantly, how will I use the funds from this competition? Funding will go towards future mental health programs and initiatives, expanding my collection size, i.e. more garments and larger collections, and most importantly, I'm eyeing a New York Fashion Week presentation next September. 2016 Nick wouldn't believe he'd be doing this today. 2020 Nick just made a new show. That's me.
I'm excited to see the new collection. I'm pumped for your upcoming drop. And I'm also excited for the judges' questions. So we'll start off with Desmond.
Sure, super cool. I like the socially conscious element of it. I think there's a big space for this because of all the things you said, right? I think people are more aware of and more open to talk about things like what you're highlighting. What's your ideal customer base? Because I know you mentioned at the end, there is an online brand that you're selling to, but what are the other sort of outlets that you're looking to push the product, and who are the ideal sort of target market for it?
So I guess a target audience is between 18 and 25, fashion forward, fashion thinking individuals that are still socially conscious and care about, the impact they make in the world, and they put their money where their mouth is.
And sorry, who would you also consider your peers in that space as well?
Yeah, there's some great designers right now, especially coming out of the American realm. Reed Cooper, who I've mentioned, there's a brand from Brooklyn called Kid Super that I think does an excellent job.
I know them, yeah, very good. Yeah.
I also think brands like Pierre Moss, right, that are really pushing forward socially conscious issues, but yet making these beautiful collections that tell stories, and they're very fashion forward.
Thank you.
John Murphy.
Sorry about that. It's like for everyone on these video calls, you're on mute, you're on mute. I really love the mission that you have there, Nick, and the designs look really pretty amazing. And are you focused on just male clothing, or are you also focusing on women as well, or gender neutral?
Of course. First of all, thank you, Mr. Mary, for your products. I'm a huge fan of Adobe. I use them literally every day. Yeah, right now I'm focused more on male clothing, but eventually, my goals and aspirations definitely lead me to want to do women's wear as well one day.
Great.
So next, I actually want to hear from Annie. Once you're off mute.
Absolutely incredible. I love this so much. Personally have a family member that has experienced bipolar, and so it's very near and dear to my heart. I absolutely love the designs. I would say that I think the social conscious element to giving back is wonderful. I also think it would be really interesting to just think about you personally, and the tools that have helped you on a really micro level could be also something to look at to bring awareness to other people, because I think donating is great to organizations, but also just an educational around some tools that you've used personally.
Yeah. So my first collection was donated to NAMI, which is National Mental Health Illness Alliance System. They helped my family during all of this with support groups, and it's kind of learning how to live with someone who's struggling with some of these issues. But future endeavors, I actually am looking into creating a program where it's buy undergarments and then we donate undergarments, because a lot of people who struggle with mental health complications tend to suffer with homelessness as well. So that's definitely something I want to do moving forward.
Awesome.
Last question goes to Jared.
Hey, again, well done. Support the mission and all that. I think one of your slides, I think, mentioned your raising capital. So I was curious about your financing strategy as well, and how much you're looking to raise, and maybe from whom, and what you might use that capital for.
So this is really my first time trying to raise capital. So I'm fairly new at this. I'm very much a rookie. But a lot of it goes towards a presentation. So this season, Fashion Week was online. So it was a kind of a low cost barrier to entry where I just have to make a presentation, and I'm kind of giving like a lot of creativity where it can be a sketch video, it can be this, it can be that. Moving forward though, especially next season, it's going to go back hopefully to a runway show, which costs a lot of money, but has a high payoff, right? Brands work with exposure, and a runway show is definitely kind of what I'm eyeing in September, which is where the most money would go to.
Very good, thanks.
Phenomenal. All right, so our next team to present will be Two Plaza. Paolo, if you'd like to share your screen, the floor is yours.
Adjustment here. Okay. So, hello everyone. Good afternoon. I am Paulo Vieira. I'm from Brazil, and I have almost 9 years of professional experience in the food sector. I am an economist. I have a master's degree in agricultural and food economics in Italy, and I'm currently a full-time MBA student at Fordham University. And today I represent you to Plaza. We have 1.4 billion people in the world living in extreme poverty, and being 7% of them living in rural areas. And 11% of the Colombian population are located in the rural poverty condition. That represents almost 6 million people. In the Cali region, you have 2,700 small farmers in rural poverty condition, with a potential to explore land, production, and also revenues, but they are not able to explore it because of a lack of education, training, financial research, the right agricultural inputs, and also the market access. So during our conversation, we start to think about how we can solve this problem. And we have the idea to create Two Plaza. So we join forces with a multidisciplinary team with people who have backgrounds in economics, agriculture, business, finance, and also marketing to put our company and run it. Two Plaza comes to reactivate the fresh food production in the poor rural areas, provide support to the small farmers and reactivating their production. And we are focusing on producing the very good quality food and connecting this production to the market and creating a value for these farmers. Identifying farmers with no resource to crop is one of our purpose. So we create a partnership with local universities and are using the data from Colombian census to identify the farmers that have land, but no conditions to crop. And also you are looking for youngers that want to become economically independent in that region. We are also mapping soil reserves and crops that fit with the land conditions in that region. Also, we are providing technical support to them in partnership with Science Ferry, the main business company in agricultural inputs in Colombia. So we are matching soil and weather conditions with the correct seeds to reduce the use of synthetic fertilizers and chemicals, and also training the farmers to manage their crops. And we are introducing new genetic material, adding value for the whole food chain and farmers. Our data coming from orders and ad hoc demands, and it allows us to understand the requirements of food demand, leading farmers to be prepared for the crop plan. We also are introducing new varieties of fresh food according to the demand of our customers and their necessities. And we manage the production to avoid farmers' surplus and consequently loss and price reduction to them. We are ensuring market access and a fair price, benefit both sides, farmers and the customers, in a win-win model. We reached 0.03% of the low-income farmers in the Cali region, positively impacting them. We generate $62,000 in farmers' revenues only in 8 months of operation, and we benefit a lot the family farmers, workers, and the entire local community where we are operating in. We are just beginning, and our customers include 700 households, 30 restaurants, 130 products, 14 direct jobs created, 12 farmers involved, 50 tons traded, and in more than 3,000 orders in this period. To the moment, in orange, you can see our actual revenue around $100,000. And in the green ones, what we are expecting to reach up to 22. Our plan is to go on track of our initial purpose, reaching as much as the number of small farmers we can, giving them a new life perspective and becoming social and economic sustainable. In 5 years, we want to quadruple the number of farmers, double the land size for new crops, and highly increase revenues and net income for them. We believe our model is replicable not only in Colombia, but also around the world. And we will be working to open operations in Latin America, Africa, Asia, and North America. Welcome. We are to Plaza, and welcome to our world.
Thanks for welcoming me. So our first question goes to Annie.
Great presentation. Can you describe your company for me in one sentence? If you're in an elevator with someone, what's like the one-liner zinger that describes it, what you do and the problem you're solving?
We create a new business for food production, for fresh fruit production.
Gary?
Yeah, agreed. Great job. I think it's a challenging industry and one that will be difficult to break into, I think, but it seems like you've had some success early on, so kudos to you on that. Curious where else you might take this. I know you mentioned, or you had a slide there about expansion, but where specifically do you think that this would translate well?
Do you mean the countries we are expanding?
Yeah, which countries in particular do you think?
Okay, we are looking for the next countries in Latin America because our oranges and because we have like similarities in that region. So it's much easier to understand the agricultural sector and in Latin America, for example, in countries like Ecuador, Brazil, or Peru, or Bolivia, than going to a market totally different, for example, in Africa or South Asia. So we are planning to go to Ecuador and to Brazil in the next 2 or 3 years.
Awesome. I would love to connect. A cousin is this, I think, CFO of One Acre Fund, which helps African farmers in Kenya and other places. We should talk.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Will be a pleasure, Jerry.
Great to hear. So our last question goes to Elena.
Well, first off, this was fantastic. And I also have to say that I really love your branding.
Thank you.
So it seems like kind of all the pieces for this are there. So I think kind of there's 2 pieces of this. Is one, why isn't anybody else doing this today? And then kind of on top of that, my guess would be like the operations and logistics side of this is very challenging. So I think, can you touch a little bit more on that?
Yeah. Our operation is quite complicated because we are like reactivating farmers that are producing nothing up to now. And the only thing that they have to produce is get some milk for a small amount of cows in their region, and you will restart these farms to produce again. So we have like some trucks that we rent, and we go to collect the whole production in just one or twice a week, more or less, sometimes 3 times a week. And the process to deliver, we are creating like subscription program that we know what our clients are looking for, and we prepare besides like one night before or early morning the package, and the delivery process will be easier to manage and to deliver it in time for our clients. So the logistics is, if it's like a surprise, like, okay, today we buy like 1 ton of tomatoes, it'll be difficult to manage. But we have like algorithms and a data science team that predicts exactly what we need each day in the week to deliver it to our clients. And it makes not easy, but more easy the process to manage the logistics.
All right, I wanted to just make one quick announcement, but before we move on from Plaza, were there any other questions from the judges?
This is Desmond here. I did have a question around kind of the social impact element. It is in its core social impact because you're effectively providing local farmers with access to supply chains they probably wouldn't necessarily have access to.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a large food insecurity issue in Colombia. We've done some research many years ago around, it's like over 4 million or something people that are food insecure. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, just if you could talk a little bit about that angle, right? How are you working with like WFP or a lot of other food insecurity, World Food Program, a lot of other food insecurity organizations in Colombia to help sort of enable some of the work you're doing and maybe help with those supply chain issues that Elena mentioned, mm-hmm. because you've been doing work there for a while.
Yeah, we have partnerships with the Bolivarian University there in Colombia, and also the Agriculture Ministry there. We don't have any partnership with FAO or WWF or some kinds of ONGs companies. Well, first because are not our focus now, but we are looking for farmers in this moment. We know that we have a problem for people that living in poverty conditions in Colombia and also in the whole Latin America. But our focus is just one sector, the agricultures that have land but has no way to produce. And we are selling this product to the people that can pay for this product. And we create like fair price for both sides. In the future, we have plans to create like a foundation where we can help like more communities. But at the moment, we are just focusing on the small farmers.
Awesome. Thanks, Paulo.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. So just a quick word, because it looks like we've got quite a few newcomers or rejoiners since the break. And you may not have heard the announcement. So we'll be breaking you out into affinity groups based off of the Fordham Foundry's community groups. Those groups, conceptual stage, consumer products, no code development, sustainable fashion, underrepresented founders, and venture capital. If you can edit your name in the Zoom with a dash and the name of the affinity group you'd like to be sorted into, that'll help us get you all set up for the breakouts once we're done with our next few companies. And of course, if that's not something that you can do, we'll find a way to get you sorted either way. So moving on to our next team, that will be Final Approach with Hannah and Justin.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us here today. We are Final Approach. We are a family-run data analytics strategic advisory firm. We help companies make better business decisions.
We know local. We help customers discover local markets, and we have the tool to help them get there.
Our mission statement is to help companies make better business decisions in order to deliver better outcomes and ROI through data-driven insights.
We've identified the market of data analytics to be about $200 billion. We've also identified about 54 Fortune 500 companies in the New York area alone that require localization efforts. And that brings our size of addressable market to about $23 million, which we are going to take a piece of.
So being that we are a business-to-business agency, our target customer are the analytics, marketing, and HR teams within the medium and large Fortune 500 companies. Mainly for advertising, we've done social media, banner ads, and our email campaigns. We've been featured in a newspaper editorial, and we have our fully functioning website, which is also home to our blogs and white papers, which add to our brand awareness. So this is me. I'm Hannah. I'm a Fordham University College of Rose Hill graduate. I graduated in 2020. I combined my information science degree with my RA skills to head up the business development and growth aspect of Final Approach.
Hey, I'm Justin. I'm a Manhattan College grad. I've about a decade in the field, and I'm Final Approach's principal analyst.
So the problem that we seek to solve is that many companies have all this unstructured data that they don't know how to action. So we come in, translate that data into a story to help them answer their key business questions.
So these are our services. We offer everything from business intelligence solutions, so think of accessible dashboard, insights and reporting, to data strategy development. So think first-party data strategy in a cookieless world, modeling, data privacy kind of consultation, think GDPR, CCPA regulations, and full funnel measurement solutions.
This is our competition. How are we different? Our approach is to use white glove service with no outsourcing, direct client relations, and to really help them develop a highly customized, personalized solution specifically for them and only them. These are some of our milestones in growth. We became active in May, and we signed our first clients at the end of summer and into the fall, and we became Better Business accredited in November.
So our first revenue of about $70,000 the first 6 months of operation, that kind of breaks down into a multinational Mexican beverage company that was looking to break into the US market and tapped us for our expertise, kind of helping them gain local market access. And then next was a Fortune 500 national retailer that hired us to evaluate local grassroots sponsorship program across their national footprint to understand marketing effectiveness and where they were placing their dollars.
So our strategy is to focus on the local. We utilize the local Chamber of Commerce. We submit RFPs. We network with professionals. We use our referrals from existing clients, and then we market around the metro area. This is our 3-year growth projection.
So how do we plan to scale? Through SMEs. Right now we're small but nimble, and so right now we're kind of doing principal consultant as well as BD work. By year 2, we'd hope to scale that out with a full-time data analyst, full-time business development specialist, and by year 3 have a fully functional data science and engineering function to support our operations. If awarded the funds, we'd use to really help generate brand awareness, making a big splash kind of on Adweek, investment in tools and infrastructure, really cloud-based solutions, such as Oracle, Snowflake, to help from an infrastructure and back-end perspective for some of our client deliverables.
And thank you.
All right, thank you. So our first question from the judges will go to Elena.
Awesome. Well, this hits very near and dear to my heart. I work for Google Cloud for Looker, so very, very familiar with the space. I guess So as I've seen companies like this grow and scale, a lot of the way that they've been able to do it is going in through the technology partnerships with companies like Tableau or Snowflake. Have you guys, do you guys have any leads for any partnerships with those technology companies?
We don't. We've had active conversations to kind of get our foot in the door there. But you know, it's still very much in the exploratory phase, and not anything kind of signed at this point in time.
Cool. Reach out to me afterwards. I'm happy to connect and have a lot to offer here.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You'd love to see it. All right, next question, Annie.
Amazing presentation. Very well done. Super impressive. I'm curious about your strategy for landing your first client. How did that come about? How did you source them? How did you convince them to kind of take a bet on working with you guys as like a young company and kind of being the first?
Yeah, good question. So I think it's built based on kind of industry relationships. So I kind of have, I've been in the space for a while. And so, kind of I've worked with some of these folks in the past who started their own organization, their own company. And so they had actually started their own advertising agency and kind of did a lot of work in Latin America, specifically in Mexico. And so that I was tapped for kind of some of our expertise in the space. And so they kind of had a need to understand the local US market. And then, we kind of were able to put together a formalized proposal and were awarded that piece of work.
Next question goes to John.
Great. Yeah, great presentation. Really interesting space as well. At Adobe, we've got a enterprise division that specifically focuses on marketing and analytics. So I'm curious, the differentiation in your service compared to, as Elena said, some of the larger players. And you put out some big logos up there in terms of some of the competition, and there's probably a few more that I'd add to that list, including us. But I'm curious also for us to learn too, what your differentiation is that you feel that very compelled and to enter this market.
Yeah, we have high aspirations, and that's kind of why we put some of the large, well-established firms up there. But I think for us, it's really white glove service is our key differentiator. And so we're going to come in where all of our resources are going to be onshore. Yeah, you're going to work with us, right? We're kind of the name and face of the company, and so what you see is what you get, right? And so with some of our competition, you may not be seeing the SVP, you may not be seeing the vice president, right? And so some of that work may be offshored. And so as we kind of grow and scale, growth is through people, right? And so hiring SMEs that are as smart or smarter than us, right, is kind of going to be our growth strategy, and really develop that white glove service and have that very personal touch to our customers.
Desmond?
Thank you. I mean, I think it's a very unique space. You clearly have the expertise in it. I think from a consulting standpoint, my mind always goes to profitability when you have people being sort of the key part of your cost base. Can you just talk a little bit more about the financials in terms of how do you intend to remain profitable as you scale up and continue to try to keep the white glove service?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is also kind of some of the tech relationships as well. So automation. So as we kind of scale, we're looking to kind of bring on some engineering resources to help from AI and predictive, which would also kind of help from that cost reduction perspective, right? So if we can deploy an algorithm that's AI based or that delivers predictive analytics in an automated fashion for our end users, our clients, and more of a self-service analytics model, I think that would help from a cost reduction and efficiency perspective. And so there'll be some investment from a people, tools, and really process perspective upfront, but over time that efficiency will kind of even out as we kind of get those algorithms stood up to drive growth and profitability.
Yep. Automation and efficiency. Awesome. Yep. Thanks, Justin.
No problem.
And lastly, Jared?
Yeah, I think my questions are probably going to be similar to the ones that have been asked about scalability. I think when you're talking about a people-run business, scalability is more challenging. The traditional sources of capital might be unavailable to a consulting type endeavor. So have you given thought, you talked about the technology tools that you'll need, have you given thought to how you'll finance that?
So we've venture capital is of interest to us. And so we're kind of still exploring how do we kind of raise funds, because I think we're not so interested. I mean, we need some people to bring on, to develop that automation and develop some of the kind of AI and predictive work. But investment in the tooling, I think, is critical, especially for a small company like ourselves that don't necessarily have the large resources like some of our aspirational competitors do. So yes, the short answer is we've thought about funding, but we're still pretty much in our infancy. To kind of we don't have a ton of expertise in kind of approaching how do we raise it, who do we talk to, what are the right players in the space. Right now we have positive cash flow, which we're kind of reinvesting into the business and in tooling and infrastructure, which has actually helped us kind of bring on additional technology. And so the plan is to continue to do that, to continue to drive positive cash flow, and kind of pursue those VC conversations as we move forward.
Thank you, Final Approach. And our final company of the day will be Awful Cloth. Team Awful Cloth, if you'd like to share your screen.
Hello, thank you very much. I'm sharing my screen now. All right, can you see my slide?
Indeed.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, my name is Emmett Flynn, and my company is Awful Cloth. Awful Cloth is an online apparel company and lifestyle brand. With a striking name that packs as much meaning as it does punch, we hope to spread the word of positivity and the power of controlling your perspective. Our mission is to make the world a more awful place. The idea behind awful is simple. Our brand is about finding the good in the bad. Some may read awful in a negative light, but we read it, in the spirit of our brand, as full of awe. My business partner and I met in high school on the swim team. Our freshman year of college, we started Awful Cloth and have been building our brand ever since. Charles's focus is on the financial aspect of the company, while my focus lies in the creative and big picture aspects of the company. Here's a taste of the products that we have to offer. We are famous for our bright hoodies and our vibrant tees, but we also supply other items like joggers, crop tops, and beanies. We see our competitors as motivation to achieve massive success in the coming years. The two you see here are Supreme and Mad Happy. Supreme has just sold 50% of their brand for $500 million, and Mad Happy has just signed a lucrative deal with Louis Vuitton Men's. Our target market lies within Generation Z, with a focus on 14 to 22-year-olds. Our clothing in popular streetwear fashion is unisex and focused on comfort and wearability. We focus our efforts in the Anglospheric market, with our top-selling countries being the US, Canada, UK, and Australia. Our current business model is focused in the online retail market, and nearly all of our advertising efforts are based in organic advertisement and guerrilla marketing techniques. Customers follow our brand through Instagram, TikTok, and our website, which is currently going through a significant overhaul, and we fulfill a majority of our orders through a third-party manufacturer in North Carolina using a print-on-demand model. We ship from the same factory. According to Strategy the strategy and consulting unit of PwC, the streetwear market is worth $185 billion in annual sales, making up 10% of the entire global apparel market. We plan to capitalize on this market, along with the new age of social media influencers, to double and triple our company's sales in the coming years. Our goal is to be the brand of the youth in the new age of social media today. With our focus on the platforms you see above, we are able to market to our desired age group, which is 14 to 22 years old. Our most followed influencer to date is Charli D'Amelio. With over 100 million followers, she is the most followed influencer on the fastest growing social media platform in the world. We utilize and target Instagram and TikTok ads to the fans of these influencers so as to direct traffic to our online presences. Best of all, we have never paid a single influencer to wear our clothes. It is our social media presence, brand mission, and quality alone that keeps customers and celebrities wearing our gear. The last time I pitched to the Foundry in April, Awful Cloth had $70,000 in sales. I'm now happy to say that we are an international brand with over $390,000 in sales. We have customers in all 50 states and over 70 countries. Here we have a map to show the countries of some of our most frequent customers. We have excluded the US in this map as it would skew the data. We plan to capitalize in the global marketplace within the next 5 years to grow our following through the customers that we already have abroad. Our customers purchase either on Instagram or our website and can expect to pay anywhere from $25 to $65 for our products. Our most famous hoodie costs the customer $65 to purchase, $21.05 for us to produce, $6.50, which is paid by the customer for shipping, and our profit margin comes in at $43.95. We have been featured in countless magazines and news outlets, including the Chicago Tribune and the very reputable fashion magazine, Marie Claire. We pride ourselves on giving back as often and as meaningfully as we can. Over the years, we have been able to aid causes like the Australia Zoo Wildlife Relief, Black Lives Matter Chicago, and the Lebanese Red Cross. We have 3 US trademarks, are incorporated as an LLC. We have exclusive rights to the phrases awful and awful cloth on any and all pieces of apparel. And because of our exclusive and unique name, we enjoy incredible SEO at no cost. Using the data we have recorded from our 2+ years of collecting customer information and purchasing habits will allow us to move from drop shipping, which requires a high production cost, to holding inventory, which will dramatically decrease our production costs and increase our profit margin. We hope to secure funding to aid in advertising, marketing, and public relations. Thank you, and we hope you join us in our awful perspective.
Thank you. All right, so our first question goes to John.
That's really a great presentation and impressive growth in the company. I feel like the street clothing space is so competitive, and that fads kind of go. But I noticed where you're targeting. But where do you think where can you expand further, not just internationally, but just in terms of the clothing line itself, or how do you age with your customer base?
So something that I like that Nicholas said earlier was that similar to musicians, clothing brands are something that people tend to stick with. So besides our very iconic designs like this smiley, which is our most popular design, something that we're going to keep up with is new designs consistently. We don't plan to change the game in terms of any sort of tech wear or anything like that. We are a likable, wearable company, and it's something that people will follow for the meaning itself more than anything. And then for the wearability, comfort, and design second. And so we plan to scale mainly through advertising. Something that we kind of pride ourselves on is the fact that we have not paid any influencers. So we hope that with significant increase in our advertising, we'll actually be able to really bring on a lot more people.
Garrett?
Sure, thanks. Yeah, great job. Or maybe I should say an awful job. Sorry, I'm sure that you get that joke every time. It was really good, really well done. I'm curious about where you're making the product. I may have missed it. I don't know if you said that, but are you making it locally?
Yes, it is. So it's in North Carolina. We print mainly on American Apparel and Cotton Heritage. So it's basically a print-on-demand service. We do hold small amounts of inventory as we're kind of trying to move from drop shipping to holding inventory, but a majority of our products are printed on demand and shipped to the customer from the factory.
Annie?
I'm curious to know, what is your, as a founder, what is your why, and why are you so passionate about, inspiring people to change their perspective? Where does that come from?
Okay, so I'll try to be kind of brief with this, but I know, so again, similar to Nicholas, I do suffer from OCD as well. I had a pretty significant battle with OCD during my high school years, where I actually ended up in a mental behavioral hospital for about 6.5 weeks. And so my entire life stopped during this time. And I learned a lot, not just about medicines and things like that, but about your mindset. A lot of times people will say that it's anywhere 30% medicine, 70% mindset, or some variation of that. And so ever since then, and especially from my mother, I've kind of learned the importance of looking for the silver lining. We're always going to face negative situations in our lifetime, but as long as you're looking for the good, you're going to find it. And likewise, if you're looking for the bad, you'll find it as well. So that's really where the passion comes from. I've always considered myself to be a positive person. Things have gotten pretty rough sometimes, just like with everybody. But I really do try to keep a focus on perspective.
Amazing. Thank you.
Desmond.
Yeah, I think Annie's right. I think you should talk more about the connection of your personal story, because I think people, Timothy, to your point, people don't change brands. They also connect really to the personal or emotional part of it. Can you talk a bit about your funding strategy? How do you plan on raising funds? Where have your the primary portions of your funds come from to date? If you can talk about
So
that.
we have raised no funds externally. We started the brand with $2,000 from little businesses that my partner and I had been running prior to that. So everything that we have made has been completely in-house. Right now, we are obviously very interested in funding through no strings attached prizes like this competition, but also through these competitions, we're really looking into finding a strategic investor. So we are absolutely interested in venture capitalism, and we are looking for funding. But really what we're looking for is knowledge. And so we really want to partner with somebody who will be able to guide us through that field. When it comes to advertising, it's something that we think we've done very well. We're very passionate about, and we've done it for a very small amount of money. So with more money, we think we can do an even better job. But what we're really looking for past that is strategy. We're looking for somebody within the fashion world who can really help us guide through retail, through the hurdles of production, inventory, and the like.
Thanks, Emmett.
Thank you.
And lastly, Elena.
Have you guys looked at all, and what is your stance on moving towards a more like standard retail style and partnering with brick and mortar stores?
So we were more interested in that pre-pandemic, and we still are interested in it, but it's something that we've realized might be a little bit more down the line. We're definitely interested in simple, like licensing to stores like Zumiez or Nordstrom or PacSun. But right now, we really do want to stick to the online retail market. We think we're doing a great job, and we appreciate sticking to our social medias. We definitely need a lot more help in that field as well when it comes to actual brick and mortar retail. And so that's something that goes along with a strategic investor.
Fantastic.
It
All
answers
right.
your question.
Thank you. And thanks to all of the teams that presented. That is our 8. I also wanted to give a big thank you to the judges for hearing all of their stories, their traction, and asking great questions. But now you've got the unenviable position of deciding who's going to win. And we'll be shuttling you off to deliberate, and also allowing all of the individuals that are in attendance today the chance to network under the Fordham Foundry community affinity groups. So I want to give one last call announcement to you all as attendees to cast your votes. Please select who will be our People's Choice Award winner using the pre-app. So if you're new to this or you haven't heard me say it before, download the app by scanning the QR code. You enter into the Google Play or the Google App Store to get pre onto your phone. You can sign up as a pre-investor, and then using event code 9154, you'll see the companies, be able to invest your dollars, and we'll see who is our $1,500 People's Choice Award winner based on your choices. So we'll be sending you off to the Foundry Slack community. Just a quick word on that. So if you like the engagement that you're having in these communities and these affinity groups, we actually have a Slack community that we maintain for not only students, not only alum, but also friends of the Foundry that want to continue this conversation. So just a heads up that we'll send you a follow-up email with an opportunity to join the Slack community should you choose. But for now, please get a taste of what that conversation could look like across the affinity group themes, those being conceptual stage, consumer products, no-code development, sustainable fashion, underrepresented founders, and venture capital. We'll see you in the breakouts.
Okay, the judges have wrapped up their deliberation. So welcome back, everybody. Oh, I see I'm over here. Sorry about that. So it has really been a terrific afternoon. I'm going to stop my screen sharing here. There we go. And so again, we really appreciate everybody attending. I want to introduce Brandon Kim, who is the winner of our first Ramsden a couple of years ago. And Brandon, I'll let Milton embarrass Brandon because he loves to do it and he really does it much better than I do. But Milton can introduce Brandon, and then Brandon's going to say a few words.
I want to start by saying that Brandon was a philosophy major. He created a company literally at the Foundry. And the embarrassing part, not to me, we're very proud. He was just named to the Forbes 30 under 30 list. So all of us at Fordham are very proud of Brandon and his brothers. Brandon.
You're always too kind, Milton.
No, we love you. That's it.
Appreciate it. Well, hey everybody, thanks for having me, and it's an honor to be back here and as the closing speaker of the Ramsden competition nonetheless. I want to start out by congratulating the Fordham Foundry and Gabelli for putting together another great event. I know firsthand how difficult it is to throw these, and it's even more difficult on Zoom. And I want to congratulate all of the participants for their incredible pitches. I know firsthand just how difficult it is to step up on stage. So as Milton had said, I'm Brandon Kim. I'm one of the co-founders of Brevity, a bootstrapped direct-to-consumer backpack brand that I co-founded with my two brothers while I was at Fordham, and I founded it at the Fordham Foundry. It was a project, and we wanted to, we wanted to just manufacture a product. It wasn't anything too crazy in the beginning. And as we were looking for resources and guidance, the Foundry provided this incredible wealth of knowledge. Al and Milton really run a fantastic operation over there. After our first successful crowdfunding campaign, we ran Brevity on the side for many years. And then in 2018, we came back to Fordham and we won the Ramsden competition in our first year of being full-time at Brevity. So back in 2018, Ramsden really marked this pivotal point in our business. It was when we realized just how scalable Brevity was. Up until that point, it was this side project. And we were really just making a go out of it. It was only until we realized the potential of what we were working on, after we had kind of placed in that competition. It was a really pleasant moment. But like what happened after Ramsden was a little more interesting. And so I really like the story and I wanted to share it with all of you because you guys are going to be post Ramsden and I think it's a very exciting time. So we had identified a new production partner in Vietnam. And one of the Ramsden judges highly recommended that we visit them in person. So a couple of months later, I found myself Vietnam bound on the cheapest flight we could find. And this was, and I didn't know it at the time, one of the first of many trips to Asia that year. And we didn't really know what we were going to get out of it, but we knew that it was really important to go. And basically Brevity has been a series of these really scrappy events, and this one was no different. We had probably about $100 to our name collectively between the two of us. And we put everything else on credit cards for that trip. And so here we were in this country that we didn't know, that spoke a language that we couldn't speak, going to a factory with no hard agenda items, and it was on the other side of the world. It was a really intimidating trip, to say the least, but once we met our new production partners, it was the start of the next phase of Brevity. By meeting in person, the factory owner, he accommodated a lot of our requests, such as lower quantities on colorways, and they really helped us to build an ironclad supply chain. You know, they say a factory is a strategic partner, but it's definitely the truth. Our factory is a strategic partner, and we don't see really working with, you know, other factories if we don't have to. Something that we preach over here at Brevity is that it's really important to build a strong foundation for your business, and the rest will follow smoothly. I think a lot of companies run into battle before really making sure that, you know, everything is all set. So as many of you guys are trying to figure out your next steps, a good figure to know is that a successful entrepreneur and a successful corporate employee generally make about the same amount of money in their careers. The difference, though, is in the process. I get to work every day with my best friends and the people that I love the most in this world. Though none of this is easy, we all look forward to Mondays. You know, none of us really get the Sunday scaries, and the people who we have now begun to hire, they don't seem to have the Sunday scaries either. And so a question we actually often get is, what is it like to work with your brothers? And I like to, I liken it to the brothers in the Bee Gees and the way that they were able to harmonize and intuitively anticipate each other's next steps. I guess for the younger students out there, the Bee Gees are the three brothers who sang Staying Alive and Saturday Night Fever. Your parents were probably into them.
The old version of the Jonas Brothers.
That's exactly what they are. They're the Jonas Brothers 1.0. And so I personally find deep fulfillment in this process of building a future for those that I love. So for all of you thinking about starting a company, I want you to be wise in your approach. Be cautious, because only the most risk-averse entrepreneurs make it out. And be courageous for those who are courageous besides you in the process. Congratulations to the Fordham Foundry on another successful pitch event. To all of the participants for being courageous to step up on stage. And for all of you for showing up on your Saturday to witness all of these passionate founders continue in the pursuit of their companies. If you too are interested in entrepreneurship, I highly encourage you to visit the Foundry. And I truly wish all of the participants the best of luck with the next steps in their ventures. And without further ado, let's announce the winner. All right, so the winner of the People's Choice Award is Two Plaza. Congratulations. Fourth place winner is Awful Cloth. Congratulations, you guys. That's incredible. Third place is Nicholas Rayevsky Design. Second place is Equidoc. And, you know, the final first place winner is Two Plaza. Congratulations, all of you guys. I know how incredible it is.
Wow.
Thanks, Brandon. Really appreciate it. And appreciate everybody participating today. At one point, we had over 100 people on this Zoom, so we really thank everyone for coming and for staying around. For those of you who did make connections during the two breaks, we would encourage you to follow up with each other. And there were some people, I think, and some of our presenters wanted to make some connections with some of our judges, and so we are happy to try to facilitate that as well. So again, a big thank you to everybody involved here. I couldn't have done it without everybody that you didn't see on the screen today. Will Brodlow, who was the guy that made all the technology magic happen. Milton Zussberg, who you did see. Sean Johnson, of course, our host. Lauren Sweeney, who was hanging around somewhere in one of these squares, and I can't see her. She is our current entrepreneur in residence. Replaced Brandon. Not that Brandon's replaceable, but she succeeded Brandon. We'll go with that. And Kayla Kilfoyle, who's been just a wizard at all the social marketing. And not last but not least, Shirayu Shaw, who's the guy who made all the scoring happen and made all that work. A special thanks to our judges, a special thanks to Dean Rapiccioli, the Gabelli School of Business, and everybody else that came. And we look forward to seeing you all. Please come back on March 27th for our 5th annual Pitch Challenge. And the difference between Pitch Challenge and Ramsden is, I think of it as one is an inch deep and a mile wide, and the other one's a mile wide and an inch deep. So this is the one where we really dug down and we looked for what we thought were the best 8 teams that entered this year. And in the Pitch Challenge, it's open to anyone and everybody. Applications are due in by Wednesday at midnight. So for those of you who are thinking about entering, I would highly encourage you to do so. And the Foundry staff, as well as some guest mentors, including some folks that I see on this call, will be helping you to shape your presentations and pitches for the 27th. So again, we look forward to seeing all of you then. Appreciate you coming and have a great afternoon. So thanks again. And whoops. There we go. And we'll see you next year.